Today we're going to be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Undefeated Jordan 4, and let me just say now, this situation is very unique and it comes down to the fact that the Nike sneakers release is going to be pretty far away from this Undefeated drop, and it really changes everything. Consequently, I think my conclusion in this video is going to surprise a lot of you guys, and I'm going to get a lot of critiques for it, but that's okay. Just bear with me. I just want to try to make you guys the most amount of money. The Undefeated Jordan 4 releases tomorrow, August 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Undefeated, but the main sneakers US drop is scheduled for the 28th. That's not to say we won't see a surprise drop before that, but the primary release is set for the 28th as of now. That's very far away. Boutiques should also be getting these too later. The best way to cop these, obviously, is going to be on the Undefeated website, though. They will be dropping first come, first serve, according to their announcement, since they already did raffle drops. I'll link my video guide on how new domains drop work at the end of this video. I'd highly suggest you watch it. And we always have early links for these new domain switch types of drops inside of Endurance. You can join us with the link in the description below. These drop for $230, and stock is rumored to be quite high at around 120,000 pairs. I don't have the exact Nike US stock yet, but instead, going off the rumored total number, it's safe to say that this won't be the most limited collab, but it's also not a general release, and it won't be super easy to get. From a new domain type of drop, though, if you watch my video guide, you should be able to cop a pair. In order to determine if the Undefeated Jordan 4 will be a fruitful hold, we will cover an estimated range for what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when these shipments come in, basically the pairs going in circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even continue to decrease, along with how much over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of ROI are we looking at for these? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. Again, stock on these is not super limited, especially for a collaboration, going off the rumored amount. I think a good comparison for stock would be the Union Jordan 1. These are not regular general release stock numbers, but it's also not super limited. As far as demand goes, it is insanely high, honestly, perhaps even more so than what we saw in the Union Jordan 1s, if not about the same. The bids are really high, and we're already seeing super high sale volume despite high pre-sale. It's safe to say this is a full throttle release. All sizes should be profitable with a good margin, and the larger sizes being the best. Currently, sizes 8 to 12 are at an average of $545, but obviously, as always, this number is going to change. Now, after they drop, we often see a positive impulsivity effect where prices actually increase from everybody who took L's, usually around 5 to 10%. With this situation and many collabs, we're not going to see that. In fact, we'll actually be seeing the opposite. Very similar to the Union Jordan 1 release. And this is because, contrary to general releases, which have tons of stock already circulating, collaborations typically have a lot less in circulation pre-drop. And then tons hit circulation almost all at once the collaborator, in this case Undefeated, drops their massive stock. So I'm actually expecting an initial 10% decrease after the drop, which could potentially bring prices to $490 that day. Yes, I'm not expecting a positive impulsivity effect, and it's not only because of all the stock hitting circulation, but also because many people will also be holding out from paying resale until the sneakers release, which is not until quite a bit later. After that sneakers release, maybe then we will see a positive impulsivity effect, but that's for a future video discussion. Make sure to subscribe for that. We'll discuss that as we get closer to that drop. So now let's discuss what price it will look like once these shipments go out in the 2 to 3 week range. During this period, the vast majority of pairs usually will all go into circulation. Normally, we see a 10% decrease in value on general releases. With big collabs like this, we often see an even greater drop, up to 15 to 20%, and that's again because all the stock is going in circulation at once from the collaborator. I think for these we could at least expect another 15% decrease in value, which would then hypothetically bring prices to $417 on average, and maybe even slightly lower than that. Nonetheless, there's still good profit to be made on these, even on the low end of that average. Now that the average price ranges at those points in time are evident, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from the post-shipment prices or even continue to decrease. Unlike usual, where I talk about long-term likelihood of appreciation, this situation is different, and that's because of the sneakers drop, which will be much later. Leading up to that sneakers drop, prices will fall and fall. And after that sneakers drop, maybe then we will see a slight impulsivity effect, and then we'll likely see an even further drop in value as those shipments go out. So honestly, even if they were to eventually increase after the sneakers drop, I think if you get any of these early pairs from Undefeated, you should sell them as soon as possible. Unless you get a very late shipment and prices have already gotten to this low end of the average, in that case, you might want to wait until after the Nike sneakers drop where everyone accepts their final loss, and then we see that slight impulsivity effect. I'm not 100% sure right now. We'll see where prices end up right before the drop. For now, guys, you should be flipping these Undefeated pairs as soon as possible for the most part. So actually, we won't be discussing the ROI this time. We'll talk about that before the sneakers drop when discussing the long-term appreciation potential. For now, though, this particular drop, it's not a good idea to hold through this period. For that reason, I would actually rate these a 0 out of 10 hold, specifically for this drop. Not the Undefeated 4 in general, but because prices are so high for this drop, you have an opportunity now to make more money than you will even after holding these a long period of time following the drop that we're about to see over these next few weeks. I will give a different rating for these after the sneakers drop because prices will be much lower then, and you'll have a better opportunity for a potential ROI. If you're watching this before the drop, good luck. Remember, when it comes to any new domain release, we always post early links inside of Endurance. You can join us with the link in the description below. And not just for that, but I'd encourage you to get into Pokemon reselling too. There's been tons of profit to be made on that, even more so than sneakers. Other than that, though, have a great rest of your day.